Hi, Guy. Good night to you. So tonight I'm gonna talk about the meeting of academics, people, the clever people, the expert, who gathered in one place, a big hall, and there was a professor who was the initiator of the meeting. So you just imagine, I don't know how many hundreds of experts in their own field who were gathered in one place, and the objective of the meeting was to analyze the verse in the Koran on the scientific narrative found in the Koran, and the expert on their field were expected to give comments on the narrative in the Quran. And the professor said that this task was given to them to analyze the Quran and make conclusion whether the narrative, the scientific narrative in the Quran is true or not. So the expert will be given chance to give their opinion. Or you just imagine in China with big population, so the number of experts in their field must be a big number. So I saw the video, the YouTube. The place was big with scientific equipments. Looked like the place was like a laboratory. So this professor, he got a big screen and he prepared the presentation beforehand. So what he did was just click a button then the verse in the Quran appeared on the screen, and then he clicked another button. The evidence, the scientific evidence that been written by the world experts on the narrative of the Quran, whether it support it or it doesn't support the narrative in the Quran. So, okay, let me start. just tell you what I remember. The first one was the expansion of the universe. It starts with we created the universe. We have the power to expand it. So, universe expansion. So, the academics may be numbering hundreds or thousands of them in that hall have to comment, if they have comment, the expansion of the universe. And then the professor press a button showing evidence, the study, the scientific study that had been carried out to support the narrative in the Koran of our universe is expanding. So there was silence. So the professor said, we only found this universe is expanding only recently, but the book, the Quran had mentioned it 1,400 years ago. So there is a being already knew this before the science know it. So what do they think? Oh, it was just silent, and silence speak words in their heart. Okay, that was one. And then the professor pressed a button, and then the narrative in the Quran appeared on the development of embryo from blood clots, then formation of bones, and then the bones wrap in tissue, and then fetus form. All the stages very detailed mentioned in the Quran. And then the professor pressed a button, and it shows science finding of the development of embryo in the womb of a woman. So people look at it, can see it on the screen and compare to the narratives, the Quran. And nobody comment, just professors were saying that this was already known before science had found this with the invention of telescope and all the equipments, modern equipments used to study the development of the embryo. And then the professor said it's already mentioned 1,400 years ago in the book Koran. And then there was silence, nobody comment. So the professor went on, pressed the button, and then there was a narrative in the Quran of the body of water that they don't mix, just like in the Pacific Ocean on one side and the Mediterranean Sea on the side. The scientists had found a boundary of different body of water, but the water don't mix. So it's also mentioned in the Quran. And how come the Prophet Muhammad, who got that message, knew this? Okay, nobody comment. So now this scientist is beginning to see the truth, the narrative in the Quran of the truth in the Quran. So like they were being led, they had been fooling themselves into thinking that they were like the first to know this. Science was the first, scientists were the first to know all this, that, but it's not true. Already mentioned in the book written 1,400 years ago. And then the professor pressed a button. The narrative in the Quran was a fire. A fire occurred in the depth of the sea. Well, it is surrounded by water around, but then there's still fire burning on the depth, in the depth of the sea. So the science had observed this phenomenon. So no one can deny. This is the truth mentioned 1,400 years ago. But this phenomenon of fire in the depth of the sea can only be observed by unmanned equipments, robot sent into the depth of the sea, and take picture of the photographs of this phenomenon. But 1,400 1,400 years ago, there were no such equipment, and then it's written in the book. So, by the being who have known this, then the professor pressed a button. There is a narrative in the Koran saying that God can recreate human beings. He even recreate the fingers, the human being fingers recreated and arrange the fingers. So when it says arrange the fingers, is the fingertips. The fingertips is unique. So no two fingertips are the same. So one person have a fingertip mark which is different from others or other people, so it's unique. So science only know this in this century, but Quran already mentioned it 1,400 years ago. So now, what the scientists have been fooling themselves into thinking they were the one who find out all this, but actually it was already mentioned. So the scientists have been proud of the findings. All their study already were known, already written in the book that appeared 1,400 years ago. So, what does this mean? What does all this mean? So, these academics people were thinking that they were also been created. So now they feel they were only created. So they are the creation of some power, great power. And now they begin to humble themselves, and there is no denial that the Quran is saying the truth. So many were just crying, knowing that there is a great power that know all this before they knew. Oh, there's academic people start to humble themselves. They cry and pronounce the sahadah, converting to Islam. Amazing. The whole, everyone there convert to Islam. And then after they convert to Islam, they feel peace in their mind and their heart, and their relationship among themselves got better. They are no longer proud or try to compete with each other. So their working together is improving. So just imagine maybe 1,000 of the clever people who were there, who were present there, pronounce sahadah. And then this news of the clever people converted to Islam also attracts other people who were curious, wanted to know why, and they came to the place and start asking questions. What happened? Why they converted to Islam? So their curiosity and their discussion with the people who were there make them also to convert into Islam. Okay, that is the most interesting story I seen in the YouTube today, and I share with you. Thank you very much.